Hey guys, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and today for our online review we are taking a look at the Audi R8 V10 Plus, courtesy to our friends at Exotics Hunter who have lent us this car so I can give you in 6 minutes or less what you should know about the R8 V10 and if you should buy one or not. First off, the R8 V10 is one of the most hackable cars on the market as well, because it has already hit what we call its bottom cash value, meaning it is the lowest point where the car has gone and is now very stable in its entry point and how much value of a car you get in the 150k range. So the Audi R8 V10 Plus versus the non-Plus is very minor differences, just like the Turbo and Turbo S for Porsche. You will include things such as ceramic brakes, a better spoiler, some additional carbon fiber, and ultimately making the car more complete and drive a little bit better. But there's a lot we have to take a look at here, so we're going to try to cover this as fast as we can. V10 Pluses, there's quite a bunch on the market, and most of them will have similar options. They're not really option heavy cars, just like the Lamborghini Huracan. They've always been the same price. Very minor changes to the car, especially if it's a Plus. You're going to already have standardized carbon in most of the car, but one of the things you need to pay attention to is, do you have the right color combination, and of course if the seats themselves are these cross quilted seats, which is an option and does do very well. So comfort seats, cross quilted, and a few carbon choices there, and you have pretty much a complete car. Now the Huracans and the R8 V10 Pluses side by side have not really gained or lost money ever since the COVID era, so they are very stable price cars. And before we get into pricing, let me tell you about a few things that do typically go wrong in these cars. You're going to have shocks, for the most part, being the key area or issue with the R8 V10s, and you're going to have leaking oil gaskets from the back, and that's basically it. So these cars are bulletproof and incredibly solid if they've been maintained. Making sure that they've had services done on time, and of course the seals have no leaks in the back, and then that the actual shocks at some point have either been replaced, especially if you have over 15,000 miles. But other than that, this is a pretty solid car, and shocks and struts are actually pretty cheap even if they do break down, so you're not going to have any major issues with these cars if they've been maintained properly. The one thing I will say that does go bad quite often visually, not so much mechanically, is that this dashboard right here is very prone to the sun, and so you'll see the leather start to lift if the cars have been left in the sun quite a bit. So if you're buying cars from Texas, Florida, or California, just pay attention to this dashboard and that the leather is not lifting. Otherwise, that is something that'll probably cost you about $4,000 to $5,000 in an upholstery shop. Now, before we get into the numbers, what should you pay for the R8? Here's a word from our sponsor.
Railz.com is a reputable online platform specializing in auctioning high-end timepieces. Known for its transparency and security, it provides a reliable way to sell watches online. Focused on smooth transactions, Railz ensures a secure environment for both buyers and sellers. Prioritizing genuine buyers, the platform offers a premium selling experience for sellers and great deals for buyers on luxury watches. Explore Railz at Railz.com for top-notch service in the luxury watch market.
Okay, so this particular car, while fitted with a lot of aftermarket, is for sale for roughly $160,000. But the reality is you can buy an actual Audi R8 V10 Plus anywhere from $145 to $170K. And it'll really depend on mileage, condition, and of course aftermarket options. While you can have cars with $5,000, $15,000, $20,000 of additional aftermarket option, these cars will usually retail around $150 to $155. And most people would argue that you have to buy these cars wholesale at $135, which is almost near impossible to get. A lot of times, wholesale low mileage cars have typically something wrong with them. So I would suggest, if looking at a wholesale car or a car lower priced than $145,000, you do a very thorough inspection to ensure that there's nothing wrong with the car itself, because the majority of these cars, if well cared for, well optioned, and ultimately in good condition, will run you about $150K at their lowest point. I mean, you might steal a car there and there, $147K or so, because the color may not be as popular, etc. But the majority of these cars are still going to trade between $145 and $155, and that's where the 2017 R8 V10 Plus ends. So that is the sweet spot for the car. If you can buy the car any lower, you're probably going to make money. If you can buy it at that dollar range, you can probably drive it an additional 3,000 to 5,000 miles and enjoy it without losing any money. As far as mileage, you should be buying these cars between 10 and 15,000 miles and getting rid of them before 20. That gives you not only the premium discount on the car itself because of the miles, and the most optimal resale of the car, where the 3,000 extra miles is not going to hinder the sale. If you want more reviews like this, of course, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, and more importantly, click the link in the description to learn how to hack a car like this with all the details you need on how to buy, trade, negotiate, and everything in between to ensure you get the right Audi R8 V10 Plus and it ends up becoming a free car for you. Or simply visit us at exoticcarhacks.com. I'll catch you next time for Exotic Car Hacks.